Wow, look at you, growing big and strong in there. You look so peaceful and happy. Are you comfortable in there? You sure do look it, little man. It seems like such a blur, that day that doctor told us about you. It was February 28th, 2014. That day we won't forget. The day that changed our lives forever. It was a beautiful, sunny Friday. The weather was just perfect. I left work early to go to the doctor. No, little man, there was nothing wrong with Mommy. Just a checkup. I sat in the waiting room waiting for the doctor to come in, just thinking about what your daddy and I were going to do that weekend. Maybe go to a festival, maybe go hiking. We sure do love the outdoors. The doctor eventually came in. He was a young gentleman named Dr. Blaha. You probably recognize his name by now. We say it frequently as a joke. We sat and went over medical history, any health changes, anything different going on in my body. No, I told him. Everything seemed normal. I was a little off, but nothing to worry about. He asked if he could conduct a pregnancy test. I laughed and reluctantly agreed. 3 minutes later, Dr. Blaha entered the room with a large smile on his face and said, "You're pregnant." The only thing I could do was laugh, smile, and think about your daddy. I know he'd be so excited and terrified, just as I was. I drove back to work and picked him up. He wanted us to hang out with some of his friends and relax, but I had something bigger to tell him, something that was life-changing. I tried to persuade him to head home, but he was insistent on going. Almost instantly, I pulled out a book that was called A Miracle in the Making, and I saw him smile and understand what I was trying to tell him. He drew me close, hugged me, and suddenly all plans changed. Now, here we are at 34 weeks, and you are growing like a weed. It's crazy to think that in 6 short weeks you'll be entering this world and climbing deeper into our hearts. Are you ready in there? Are you ready to see us and not just hear our voices? Baby boy, we are ready for you. I think back to this picture, before we named you, before we felt you, before we knew if we were ready. Truth is, Tanner, no one is ever ready for change, but God has a plan for us, and God surely has a plan for you. I've been asked, how can you love something you've never met? Before you, I said you can't, and then I felt your kicks. It was almost as if it was the first time I knew you were real, the first time I realized that we created you and you are here to stay. From that point on, we have never stopped loving you, and we never will. We cannot wait to finally meet you, Tanner. Only 6 more, maybe.